Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that the most powerful ruler on earth had completely lost his mind. Not because of an assassination attempt, not because of a military defeat, not because of illness, but because God himself stepped in and humbled him. This isn't fiction. It's one of the most astonishing accounts in the entire Bible. It's the story of King Nebuchadnezzar, ruler of Babylon, conqueror of nations, builder of wonders, and the most powerful man alive during his time. Yet in a single moment, everything changed. His throne could not save him. His army could not protect him. His wealth could not help him. And his pride nearly destroyed him. This is the incredible story of the king who lost his mind overnight. Long before the events of this account, Babylon had risen to become the greatest empire on earth. Its massive walls towered over the landscape. Its palaces dazzled visitors from every corner of the world. Its wealth was unmatched. Its armies seemed unstoppable. At the center of it all stood one man, Nebuchadnezzar. He was feared by kings and respected by nations. Under his rule, Babylon expanded into an empire unlike anything the ancient world had ever seen. When people spoke of power, they thought of Nebuchadnezzar. When they spoke of success, they thought of Babylon. From a human perspective, he appeared untouchable. But there was one thing Nebuchadnezzar had failed to understand. No earthly kingdom lasts forever, and no ruler stands above God. Years earlier, Nebuchadnezzar had already encountered the God of Israel through the prophet Daniel. Daniel had interpreted dreams no one else could understand. He had demonstrated wisdom far beyond the king's advisors. Again and again, God revealed his power before Nebuchadnezzar's eyes. Yet despite everything he had witnessed, pride still ruled his heart. And God was about to confront it. One night, the king had a troubling dream. When he awoke, he knew it was important. The images were vivid. The message felt powerful, but he couldn't understand what it meant. As before, he summoned his advisors, magicians, astrologers, and wise men. Yet none could explain it. Finally, Daniel was called. The same man who had interpreted dreams before. The same man who served the God of heaven. Nebuchadnezzar described what he had seen. In the dream, there stood an enormous tree in the middle of the earth. It grew higher and higher until its top seemed to touch the heavens. Its branches spread across great distances. Its leaves were beautiful. Its fruit was abundant. Animals found shelter beneath it. Birds nested in its branches. The entire world seemed to benefit from its presence. Then suddenly, a heavenly messenger appeared. The messenger cried out with authority, "Cut down the tree, trim its branches, strip off its leaves, scatter its fruit, let the animals flee, let the birds depart." Yet one thing was to remain, the stump, bound with iron and bronze, left in the ground. Then the dream took an unusual turn. The messenger began speaking as though the tree represented a person. He declared that this individual would lose his mind. He would live among animals. He would eat grass like cattle. 7 periods of time would pass over him. And all of this would happen for one reason. So that people would know that the Most High rules over the kingdoms of men and gives them to whomever he chooses. The dream ended. Silence filled the room. When Daniel heard the dream, he was deeply troubled. For a moment, he said nothing. The king noticed. Nebuchadnezzar encouraged him to speak. Daniel finally answered, and the message was not easy to deliver. He explained that the great tree represented the king himself. His greatness had grown throughout the earth. His power had expanded across nations. His influence reached everywhere. But because of his pride, judgment was coming. Daniel told him that he would be driven away from people. He would live among wild animals. He would eat grass like cattle. His mind would leave him. And this would continue until he acknowledged that God alone rules over the affairs of humanity. Then Daniel pleaded with the king, "Break away from your sins, show mercy, turn from your pride. Perhaps judgment can be delayed." The warning had been given. The choice now belonged to Nebuchadnezzar. Months passed. Nothing happened. Then more months passed. Still nothing. A year went by. Perhaps the king began believing the danger had passed. Maybe he convinced himself Daniel had been wrong. Maybe he assumed the dream was simply symbolic. Then one day, everything changed. Nebuchadnezzar was walking upon the roof of his royal palace. From that vantage point, he could see Babylon in all its glory. The magnificent walls, the temples, the palaces, the gardens, the wealth, the power, the empire he had spent years building. As he looked across the city, pride filled his heart. Then he spoke words that revealed exactly where his trust rested. He said, "Is not this great Babylon, that I have built by my mighty power and for the glory of my majesty?" The words had barely left his mouth when a voice came from heaven. The judgment Daniel had warned about had arrived. The kingdom would be taken from him. His authority would disappear. His sanity would leave him. And he would remain in that condition until he learned the lesson God intended to teach. Immediately, the prophecy was fulfilled. Nebuchadnezzar lost his reason. The man who once commanded armies could no longer govern himself. The ruler who once issued royal decrees could no longer think clearly. The king who once sat on a throne now wandered in fields. He was driven away from people. He lived among animals. He ate grass like cattle, day after day, week after week, month after month. The Bible paints a remarkable picture. His hair grew long like the feathers of an eagle. His nails became like the claws of a bird. The greatest king on earth had become a living testimony to the danger of pride. Imagine the shock throughout Babylon. Citizens who once bowed before him now whispered about him. Foreign rulers who feared him heard stories of his downfall. The mighty king had become helpless, not because another nation defeated him, not because a rebellion overthrew him, but because God humbled him. For 7 periods of time, Nebuchadnezzar remained in this condition. The lesson was painful, but it was accomplishing exactly what God intended. Then one day, something changed. After years of humiliation, Nebuchadnezzar finally looked toward heaven. The man who once glorified himself now acknowledged God. The ruler who once celebrated his own greatness finally recognized the true king. And in that moment, his understanding returned. His sanity was restored. His mind became clear again. The fog lifted. The confusion disappeared. The king was back. But he was not the same man. The proud ruler who had walked across the palace roof was gone. In his place stood a humbled man who understood where power truly comes from. Nebuchadnezzar immediately began praising God. He declared that God's dominion is everlasting. He acknowledged that all the inhabitants of the earth are insignificant compared to God's authority. He confessed that no one can stop God's hand. No one can question his decisions. No one can successfully resist his will. What a transformation. The man who once said, "Look what I have built," was now saying, "Look what God has done." Remarkably, Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom was restored. His advisors returned. His authority returned. His honor returned. Yet now he ruled with a completely different perspective. The lesson had finally taken root. He understood something every person must eventually learn. Power belongs to God. Success comes from God. Life itself comes from God. And pride is a dangerous thing. The account of Nebuchadnezzar is not merely about an ancient king. It is about all of us. Most people will never rule an empire. Most people will never sit on a throne. But pride can grow in any heart. Sometimes we begin believing our success is entirely our own. We forget the blessings we've received. We forget who gave us our abilities. We forget who opened doors we could never have opened ourselves. And little by little, we start taking credit for what God has done. Nebuchadnezzar's story serves as a warning, but it also serves as a message of hope. Because God didn't destroy him, God restored him. The purpose of the humbling was not revenge. The purpose was redemption. God wanted Nebuchadnezzar to see the truth, and when he finally did, restoration followed. That same truth remains today. God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. The safest place any person can be is in humble dependence upon him. Because kingdoms rise and fall, wealth comes and goes, power fades, fame disappears, but God remains forever. And the lesson Nebuchadnezzar learned thousands of years ago is still true today. The Most High rules over the kingdoms of men, and he alone deserves the glory. If this account challenged you, take a moment to reflect. Are there areas of your life where pride has quietly taken root? Have you been trusting more in yourself than in God? The good news is that humility opens the door to grace, and the God who restored Nebuchadnezzar is still able to transform hearts today. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.